Hey everybody, Patrick Weeks, founder of Marine OCS Blog, and Captain Jeremiah McLeod, Marine buddy of mine. We were roommates in Afghanistan. Obviously, I'm the founder of the blog. Jeremiah is actually a Mustang. He's an enlisted Marine. I went through Annapolis, and we're answering your questions and having a couple beers because that's what Marines do. So,
we drink and we lie.
Yeah, cheers. So, are you a Marine? Are you looking at joining the Marines? Are you interested? We're just here to hang out and answer your questions.
Can you see him okay?
Yeah, and if you don't have any questions, we're just gonna bullshit a little bit about our service and stories. So
we just, if I can jump in, we have lights set up. We have microphones on ourselves. We've got 3 cameras going because
let's see if we can get this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough. Yeah, check that out. Little product.
Product placement.
Little product placement and a sneak peek. Because that's not out there yet. Anyway, so I've been lucky enough to do some writing for a company called Gettysburg Flag Works up in they're out of New York, and I've done some writing for their blog or whatever just for some of their product. And they have these pint glasses that they're trying to take through the holiday season, and they asked me to write for them, and I said, yeah, I can do blog posts, but why don't we do videos instead? And they loved it. Awesome folks to work with, honestly, from a business perspective. And Patty, you can talk about this from your time at Sandbox.
Hey, we got a bunch of people join. Hey, this is Captain Patrick, Patty Weeks, Marines, 2009, 2014. I started the blog. What puts my heart on fire is mentoring you guys, helping you guys become Marines. Throw a question in there. We can see it. Any comments? If there's anything we could answer to help you. This is my neighbor, my former roommate from Afghanistan back in 2013, Jeremiah McLeod.
Overall good egg.
The jury's still out.
Yeah.
Rah.
It's a hung jury.
Let's see. What's up, Sarah? Jeremiah's actually a Mustang. So started as an enlisted Marine, went to the Naval Academy for whatever reason.
Yeah, so what is today? Today's actually the 23rd, right?
Yeah, October 23rd.
16 years ago.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, 16 years ago.
Oh, right, you're trying to be a Mustang too.
Nice.
Going to OCS?
So 16 years ago today, trying to be a Mustang, I don't know if that's such a good idea.
And then we got what does everyday life look like in your experience? How well NROTC students prepared for OCS?
Yeah. So anyway, 16 years ago today, I went to Recruit Depot San Diego.
Emma,
so
love you too.
This is when I started, like 16 years ago, October 23rd, 2001. It was after 9/11 happened. I had already signed the paperwork, so it was already in the pipeline. And anyway, whatever. 4 years later, I was at the Naval Academy. I was a sergeant before I got to the Naval Academy, Sergeant of Marines. Every day as an enlisted guy you wake up, you PT with your unit, and you go to work, and you do your job. You do your PFTs and your CFTs.
Branded by society. We'll get to your question in about 10 minutes.
Rifle range and all that kind of stuff, and just take care of Marines. I was lucky enough during that time that my battalion commander was like, hey, McLeod, I was a corporal at the time. He's like, you got to go to the Naval Academy. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll try it out. And I got in, thankfully, went there, did my 4 years at the Naval Academy, which was a kick in the balls, and graduated, and thank God.
Shulian, hit me up on DM for that one.
Thank God made it back into the Corps. And for NROTC, preparing for OCS, I would defer to this dude. Honestly, listen to your...
So wait, there's first, a bunch of people just joined. I'm Patrick Weeks, Captain of the Marines, 2009, 2014, founder of OCS Blog. I got ArmstrongPullUpProgram.com, a lot of stuff. I am motivated to help you guys fulfill your dreams in military service, particularly if you're headed to OCS, of course. This is Captain Jeremiah McLeod. Look, we're both out, okay? Don't judge. Jeremiah is actually a Mustang. So he started as an enlisted Marine, went to the Naval Academy, and then became an officer. And we were actually roommates in Afghanistan back in 2013. So we're answering your questions. You got any questions about OCS, Naval Academy, Marines, enlisted, officer, other branches, let us know.
If we don't know, we'll make something up.
Absolutely. And we're here thanks to Gettysburg Flag Works, which just is coming out with these Semper Fi frosted Marine Corps mugs. Glasses, and shot some commercials for them, and that'll be coming out soon.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. Maria, shout out. Go Army.
Go Army. What the hell is that? Okay, so next question was, what other routes are there to go officer? When you're enlisted.
Yeah, so
Mustang means going from enlisted to officer.
Yeah, there are a few. So if you are enlisted, like look, I didn't have the opportunity to go to college right out of
Austin, I'll hit up Land Nav too.
didn't have the opportunity to go to college right out of high school, so I joined the Marines. And there were a number of routes. You could go to the Naval Academy if you're underneath a certain age range. There's also the Marine Enlisted Commissioning and Education Program.
Yeah, Nick's about to get his bachelor's. He's already sworn into list. He wants to go Mustang. How long should he wait before he tries to switch over?
If you've already got a bachelor's,
Connor got it. Yeah.
Why would you enlist if you've already got your degree? Okay, so the next question is, or to sort of answer your question, wait till you're done with boot camp to try to do anything else. Get to your unit, get done with school, get to your Fleet Marine Force unit, and you can look at the paperwork requirements, like the regulations, the program that you want to pursue, whatever, while you're going through training. But once you get to your unit, talk to your career planner. He will be your main point of contact. Don't let anybody.
Results may vary with the career planner, right? With their understanding of all the different routes?
It's true. And quite frankly, my career planner, when I was going from enlisted to officer, didn't know anything. So, like, I went through that entire process and sort of handed them a binder of, this is how you go from enlisted to the Naval Academy.
Right.
They didn't know that stuff. But anyway, yeah, when you get to your unit, that is when you really... you can begin before that. Look into the Marine Corps orders, look into the ALNAVs and the ALMARs and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so MECEP is a program, Marine Enlisted Commissioning and Education Program. There's MCP, Meritorious Commissioning Program. There's...
ECP?
I think that still exists.
Is that still around?
Enlisted Commissioning Program, so that's a different program for those who I think already have a degree or are very close to a degree. If you already have a degree, don't go to the Naval Academy. That would be retarded. Because Did you see
that happen? People with a bachelor's degree went to Naval?
I knew folks who had already been at college for like 2-3 years who then went to the Naval Academy. But the Naval Academy does not accept credits from any other institution.
Gosh. Okay. Since you've experienced both enlisted and officer life, how do you feel about the different level of responsibility that comes with being enlisted versus an officer? Sarah, you just won the free pair of Silkies tonight for the best question.
Yeah.
DM me your address. We're going to send you Silkies.
Yeah. So
ECP is still a go. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks, Connor.
You asked a question about leadership, and I mean, your head's in the right place for asking such a question. Okay, so I was a sergeant of Marines before I went to the Naval Academy. I loved being a sergeant. It meant I was... capable of leading, at the very least, a platoon, of other Marines.
A platoon?
As a guide.
Yeah.
Most guys are sergeants. Some platoon sergeants are sergeants, usually staff NCOs. But
that's something to think about from my perspective, coming through college and then right into the Marines. You guys want to be lieutenants, most of you. When you join, you got staff NCOs reporting to you, maybe some chief warrant officers around, some sergeants reporting to them. Those sergeants all have more leadership experience than you do. Have a lot of respect for them, see what you can learn from them, as well as being a mentor.
But it doesn't mean that they're better leaders. Leadership is about learning and about becoming better as you are able. So anyway, different levels of responsibility from enlisted Marine to officer, night and day. They really are. As an officer, here's the thing. As a sergeant, I would yell as much as I possibly could to get other Marines to do what I wanted them to do. As an officer,
very hands-on.
I did not yell. I never raised my voice.
Right.
And there's a reason for that. As a sergeant, the sergeant's the bulldog. The enlisted Marine is the bulldog. Like you gotta like take people by the neck and push them. And do the Marines need that? No, not necessarily. But that's kind of the generally that's how I see an NCO. You go make things happen. The officer is more like dad. Oh, you screwed up? Well, let's come talk about it. Or you don't screw it. You're not screwing up, but you want some advice. Let's talk about it. I don't. You
want to talk about a leadership challenge? I was the youngest lieutenant in my platoon. I was like 22. Imagine having a Marine who's maybe 5-10 years older than you, been through a couple combat deployments, standing in front of your desk, and you got to discipline them for something they did wrong. You're not yelling, you're not throwing anything, you got to talk to them man to man, and they're old enough to be like, if not your dad, your older brother, seen a lot more than you, and you got to use your words, you got to use respect, and you got to hold people accountable.
How did that make you feel?
Very intimidated, absolutely, 100%. If you're not intimidated by some of your leadership challenges you get in the Marine Corps, you're not getting out of your comfort zone, or you're stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
Almost everybody I led at one time or another, I'd say maybe my direct reports, had more experience than me. They were older than me. They had seen more combat than me, or than I had. And so really the best thing I could have done was invest in a real, authentic, respectful two-way relationship, honestly.
Yep.
Okay, so we got some more questions. NROTC as a background for OCS. You guys are great. You guys do really well from what I understand. I don't think that there's like a higher failure rate for NROTC or anything like that. You understand a little bit about the military PT, a little bit about military discipline, and I think you have a little bit of a leg up on academics. Also, you only have to go to one summer, so good on you. We got a lot of people who joined. I'm Patrick Weeks, former captain, 2009-2014, founder of the OCS blog, ArmstrongPullUpProgram.com. I am super motivated to help you achieve your dreams and join the military and being physically fit. Let me know any way that I can help you. Throw a question up, and we'll try to get to as many questions as I can.
And I'm Jeremiah. I'm his buddy, captain of Marines. I was former sergeant of Marines. I was in from 2001 to 2014, and we lived just down the street from each other. We
were roommates in Afghanistan. Now we're both out. Hey, don't judge. But that just shows you what the bond is like,
so
man.
much more than 3 inches. I love it. And it's falling out.
Yeah, some of you don't know what we're talking about yet. So Jeremiah was enlisted first, then went officer. That's called being a Mustang. And he also went to Annapolis, or the Naval Academy.
Yeah,
so
glutton for punishment.
Yeah, no joke. So just keep throwing up questions. We'll get to as many as we can. Can you become an officer after being a private?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was never a private. I was actually a contract PFC. But but yes, you can, absolutely.
As far as someone asked about land nav, honestly, don't worry too much about land nav before you get to OCS. There's a lot of training, a lot of instruction. Pay attention. Just do what they tell you to do, how they tell you to do it. Also, in classes, don't be intimidated from asking questions.
Yeah.
Like the teachers are there to teach you and make sure you understand the instruction. So they'll get you over the hump. Before OCS, it's much more important to be very physically fit and to be very dedicated. I would think
humble too. Just just shut up. Do the things you need to do, put out when you need to put out, engage your brain when you need to, and finish, get your commission.
Absolutely. I actually got some bad advice before OCS, which was be the gray man, I was told. Like, just sort of avoid the spotlight, you'll coast through. No. Any attention is bad attention. That's sort of true, that any attention is bad attention.
But at the same time, Marines, especially officers, take charge. Right. So you do want to step up when you have the opportunity, even if you're going to fall on your ass and make a fool of yourself. Like, have the guts, have the moral courage, as we would call it, to step up and just put yourself out there. Right.
Absolutely. I would say look at OCS, look at the basic school, look at all training as a safe place for you. You want to crack another one?
Yeah, I'll have
if I made a mistake as a captain in combat, people are going to get killed. If I make a mistake at OCS, I get yelled at. Big whoop. They grade you on how you respond to correction, not if you're perfect or not. So don't be afraid to be imperfect. Push yourself, get out of your comfort zone. To answer a question, you didn't have a college degree when you enlisted.
Correct. I did not have a college degree. I enlisted right out of high school. I got my degree from the Naval Academy. So I enlisted right out of high school, became, spent 4 years in the enlisted ranks.
Monster, great point.
Became a sergeant of Marines, and then started my time at the Naval Academy and spent 4 years there. Got my commission from the Naval Academy. Okay.
Keep running through these questions. How much candidate knowledge should you know going into OCS? Honestly, know as much as you can. Every hour of studying you do that you memorize something before you go is another hour you're going to sleep while you're there. Is another hour your body can heal. So, challenge yourself. Unsubscribe from Netflix and just study.
Also, that's a great, this may seem cliche, but that's a great practice for what you're going to do as a Marine anyway. You've got to be good before you go. Before you launch, before you cross the line of departure, you've got to be the expert in everything that could happen. So, you're going to be spending a career doing that anyway.
Absolutely. Hey, Tremonster, can you answer a question for us? How much time do you spend in the field at OCS? You've been there much more recently than I have. So peer evals. Let's talk about peer evals for a little bit, and then what are common pitfalls for junior officers hitting the fleet. You want to talk about peer evals with TBS? It's the same thing as OCS.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so peer evals at TBS, what specifically? Just general?
People don't know what that is.
Okay, so a peer eval, I mean, it's still the same, right?
Yeah.
Now? They haven't gotten rid of that?
No.
Okay, so peer eval is, every whatever the frequency is, and I can't even recall, every 6 weeks or whatever.
Can I get some hearts for Sam Adams? Huh?
You evaluate your peers in your platoon, about 30 other people, and you rank them, you rack and stack them. You say, hey, Patty is number 1. You can't rank yourself against your other colleagues.
Right.
So you say Patty is number 1. He's the best, PT guy. He's the smartest in the classroom. He rocks land nav. He's really, really good looking. His uniform's always fresh, etc. And then you just rank everybody, and there's room for comments, and you justify your rankings. And so everybody in the platoon, everybody in your TBS company will do that, or OCS, I guess.
Yep.
And the instructors will take those evaluations, and that goes into your overall average as a student at the basic school.
Right.
I think.
Yep. It's a big part of peer feedback is a big part of your growth. So common pitfalls for junior officers. You're looking at two guys who know a lot of them the hard way.
Okay. I would say. So everybody will say, trust your staff NCOs, and that's true. But here's something you could do. You might get stuck with a shitty staff NCO. So how are you going to know, I got to trust this guy? No. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. So a pitfall is not finding a mentor, either a senior staff NCO that you can talk to, or another senior officer with a lot of experience dealing with senior staff NCOs that you can say, hey, this is what I've got going on. Is this guy a shithead, or is he good to go? How do I manage this relationship? How do I set expectations for a staff sergeant with 13 years of service when I just got to the fleet and I have no idea what his job is or what my job is? So find a mentor, period. 100%. Find somebody who's been there. And
mentors, plural. Absolutely.
Mentors, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can get another, a senior staff NCO who can be your mentor as a junior officer, and a senior officer who can be your mentor, I mean, that's going to be huge, because that'll provide you two very different, very essential perspectives.
Look, the labels might be different, the roles might be different, but personal growth, personal development in the Marines is no different from doing it outside the Marines. Yeah. If you want to go to OCS right now, you're just in college, you need a mentor too. Get real. You seriously do. Yeah, I do what I can. If you need me to put you in touch with somebody, I will as well. Hey, what's up, Jameson? You can do it. Raw, brother, raw, everybody.
PFT score?
What's a good PFT score? Average right now is 285. You need to be 295 to 300.
So this is I never got. I think the lowest PFT score I got as an officer was 283, and I felt shitty for getting a 283. 285 and up. Period, throughout your officer career is what you should do. I mean, this guy's the expert for OCS, 295.
Yeah, 285 right now is average on the application. I've talked to two OSOs in the last week. So if you're 284, you're below average, and you don't want to be there. You got other people who got colonel recommendations, congressman recommendations, no waivers, coming out of Harvard with a 284. So shoot for 300. Also, look, you start OCS, your health just goes down and down and down and down from there. You do not get stronger. You do not get faster, maybe faster to some extent. You're probably going to get injured and sick. Yeah. So if you could score the equivalent of a 310, you're going to end up in the 290s probably by then. OCS asking me, from my perspective, hey, what's up, Columbia? Average for women is 285, I think, as well. Might be a little bit lower. DM me and I can follow up for you. Another thing to understand for the PFT, I took PFTs in the fleet. I had a platoon of 100. I actually had two platoons because we were short an officer. I had 120 Marines. And you know who was up the first on those pull-up bars? This guy. So if I didn't knock out 20 pull-ups back then in the day, it was just 20, everybody would know. So I had to knock out 20 pull-ups while everybody that reported to me watched me, then knock out crunches, and on the run, everybody was either behind me or passing me. So
it's tough with those long arms too.
Yeah, absolutely. Look,
it helps to be short and stubby like me.
Yeah, I'm long and skinny. He's short and stubby. I got up to 20 pull-ups. You can do it too.
That was with one arm, right?
One good arm, one good head. Do you have any advice on how to get to MARSOC? No. Dual citizenship deal with commissioning. I think you'll have to renounce one of them.
I don't know about that. Oh, for commission, yes, I believe that's true.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I'm a decent shot. Will OCS continue to train me in my shooting skills? You will never actually hold a rifle like this at OCS. It's just drill all day long.
At TBS.
TBS, you do a bunch of shooting, and you might actually have to unlearn some habits there, but you'll probably be a decent shot. Why do women get harassed in the Marines? That'll be the subject of our next Facebook Live.
Insta Live.
Insta Live.
Gram Live. Whatever the kids are calling it these days.
I don't know. So yeah, just to say who we are again, I'm Patrick Weeks, former captain in the Marines, 2009 to 2014. I'm the founder of the Marine OCS Blog. I got ArmstrongPullUpProgram.com. What really lights a fire is helping you guys achieve your dreams to become Marines, and especially Marine officers. I'm also an admin at Future Jarheads, another community, especially on Facebook and Instagram. This is my buddy Jeremiah.
Hey. A bad idea to go enlisted if you have a degree. No, I don't. Honestly, I don't think it's a bad idea. I was at Marine combat training in 2002 with a guy who was a practicing lawyer, like he was an attorney, and he was an enlisted guy. He was a lance corporal at the time, or it might have been a PFC. So I don't think it's a bad idea. I've known other guys that have had degrees when they enlisted. It's not a bad idea. It's just what you want. What do you want out of your service?
Right.
And you don't have to have a plan for the next 10 years of your life, but do you have an idea for where you might go? And if you just want to go do 4 years as an enlisted guy, ground pounding type of deal, go for it.
Yeah, it's very different experiences. I think if you can just educate yourself more, you'll understand where you fit and where your path will be. Check out Future Jarheads. They have a good page on enlisted or officer routes, and they really encourage you to think, what's right for me?
To the second part of your question, will it help you gain more respect as a Mustang? Yeah, initially, enlisted guys who see officers who have been enlisted initially give them, a little greater respect. However, there are shitty enlisted people who become officers. There are people who are officers who were never enlisted that are phenomenal officers.
Right.
It really doesn't make a difference. It gives you a tiny bit of respect, a tiny bit of leverage, like, hey, you've been there, you've done that, you know how I feel as an enlisted guy. But if you're not a good leader, if you're not a good manager, if you're not a human being, then it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. If you're intimidated by being an officer, or you feel like, I don't know if I can cut it, let them tell you you can't. Go to OCS and go for it. Take a hack. Yeah. Don't spend years going through the enlisted ranks hoping that you will qualify for an enlisted officer route because you think like maybe that'll train you or give you more respect. Look, I showed up with only 2 ribbons to my platoon, which means I was like new. I'd never deployed or anything.
Boot.
A boot, we call it, like a noob. And, I started out with a little bit less respect because of that, but all that respect I had was either gained or lost in the next couple of weeks as Marines got to know me and got to know my leadership style. Austin, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Riverside OSO. Who's your OSO over there? Robert, how many weeks of OCS does NROTC, Marine Option Receive, versus regular OCS with BA degree? I'm pretty sure NROTC does a 6-week, and if you don't have NROTC, you go to 2 6 weeks or a 10-week, unless something changed.
I don't know. I didn't go to OCS. For those of you that haven't been around, I went to the Naval Academy. I was an enlisted guy. I'm a Mustang. I went to the Naval Academy. Naval Academy grads don't actually go to officer candidate school. There's been this like back and forth over the years where
Captain Isprat or Iaprat. Oh, that boot. Tell me he's a boot. Gosh.
Why is that name familiar?
AWOL 182. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Happy to help.
Anyway, yeah, so like Naval Academy guys don't go to OCS, so if you're asking about OCS stuff, this is the guy.
I'm an OCS guy.
I went to 4 years of OCS. He did what, 9 weeks? 12 weeks?
I went to the full college experience. No NROTC, no OCS. I don't understand why you would do something different.
Yeah, as a Marine sergeant, I had to spend 4 years wearing Navy uniforms to earn my commission.
Ugh. All right. NROTC Marine Option is basically PLC seniors. Right. Hey, Cameron Hebert 42. Did you do NROTC? Parker, will this be available somewhere else to watch later? You can't listen? Obviously, yeah, on my Instagram page. Boat school equals yuck. Yeah, it's your monster. You know it.
I mean, no, that's true. Absolutely. It's a good place to be from. It's not a good place to be.
Absolutely.
It's pretty, though. It's nice to visit.
What benefits do you think Annapolis gave you?
I don't know. I mean, I guess the net.
No, okay. First, you got college paid for by the taxpayers.
No, that's true. Yeah. Okay. So
let's not gloss over that.
Yeah. So the absolutely big thing. I went to college. I got like the equivalent of a $270,000 education that I didn't have to pay for.
Okay.
Really?
Quick pause.
Yeah,
Cameron, when you go to OCS for the NROTC program, are you going to be in the same platoon as people who are just at PLC seniors, or will it be a whole NROTC platoon? Let me know. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I got a great education, paid for by the American people. Thank you for that. I had to. So there's two ways of looking at the next thing. I had to give back 5 years of my life, right? Like, my post graduating from the Naval Academy, I had to do 5 years of obligated active duty service. You can look at it as, oh crap, I've got to give back 5 years of my life, or you can look at it as, I have a guaranteed job that pays pretty well that covers my medical expenses for the next 5 years. Yeah, I might go somewhere and get shot at.
Or you might get shot. You probably won't.
We got really good body armor now.
That's true.
No, going to a combat zone sucks, but anyway, so that's probably like the tangible thing I got from the Naval Academy. The other thing I would say is maybe networking, but I don't know.
There's a certain amount of pride Jeremiah has in his school, in his alumni community, that I don't have coming out of a small school out in Western Pennsylvania.
There's only one boat school.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only one group of people called ring knockers.
Hey, Wall, you don't think you can physically cut it? I just want to be a Marine. You lost 55 pounds already. You have 5 more to go.
Shit.
If you lost 55 pounds, you probably have a lot of motivation.
Yeah, you've got the right mindset.
Let them tell you can't do it.
And if they tell you no, come back again.
Getting the UJA is the greatest achievement of your life. Yeah. I'd say it was just as memorable becoming a Marine than having kids, honestly.
I'll tell you what, so we talk about my bifurcated path here, right? I was enlisted, and then I went to the Naval Academy. I didn't give a shit about my Naval Academy graduation. Shook Obama's hand. He was our speaker.
Wow.
I didn't care. I was like, oh, yeah, this is cool. There's the president. What sticks out in my mind still to this day is when my drill instructor gave me my Eagle Glove and Anchor. Like, hands down, that was more memorable.
Wow. It
was a more touching moment.
Chills.
When I became a Marine, that was more important to me than when I graduated from a college.
Yeah.
And yes, it was the Naval Academy. Yeah, I know what it was, but like, I was already a Marine.
You were already
I had already earned it.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get back. Different perspective for the dudes and gals that went to the Naval Academy who weren't Marines previously, though.
Heart murmur, I don't know, man. You might be able to get through MEPS with that. If there's no trace of it, you might be okay.
Why are you having a heart if you're trying to be a Marine? Get rid of it.
Rah. Do you select an MOS before leaving for OCS? How do you decide what MOS is right for you? Oh, good question.
Yeah, great question.
And then, I'm not 100% sure. I believe it is a separate course. It's called the Bulldog course, but it's exactly the same as PLC Seniors.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, I think.
I'm no expert, but that sounds right.
Yeah, Cameron, thanks. Okay. MOS selection. So, you go through OCS with an open contract. The only delineation is your air, like pilot, ground, like most MOSs, or occupational specialties, or law. You'll know if you're law.
You'll already be an attorney.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about MOSs.
Oh, how did that happen?
But first, we've had a bunch of people join. I'm Patrick, or Patty Weeks, Marine from 2009 to 2014. I founded the OCS blog. I got ArmstrongPullUpProgram.com. I am super motivated to help you achieve your dreams of becoming a Marine, especially an officer. I'm also an admin on the Future Jarheads Facebook and Instagram communities. This is my buddy and neighbor now, Jeremiah. We were
roommates in Afghanistan. I'm a Marine as well. I'm a captain, reformed. And I was in from 2001 to 2014. Mustang officer.
Mustang went through Annapolis, so started as enlisted, then went officer. I went to Grove State College. No one's ever heard of it. Okay, so MOSs. Yeah, that's only a delineation before you go to OCS. Yeah. When did you go like air ground law coming out of Annapolis?
Shoot, I don't remember. No, it was senior year of the Naval Academy. We picked Marine Air, Marine Ground, and through the board process there, they said, hey, you can be Marine Air, you can be Marine Ground.
Okay.
So I came in to TBS as Marine Ground.
Okay.
But from there, of course, it's all TBS.
Right. So when you get to TBS, okay, we got some questions. I'm just going to queue them up mentally. What are your personal leadership styles? GPA, ACT, SAT scores affect what colleges? Jesus. Will your ASVAB scores affect getting into OCS?
God.
OMG, I'm from Sharon, PA. Your mom went to Go City. Cool story, bro. Yeah, you need to meet the minimum, Sarah, which is 74, I think. Whatever. Okay, so MOSs is still topic of the day. You will, let's see, I think a month or 2 months into TBS, you're going to get exposed to a lot of what the MOSs do. Learn a lot about them. Meet officers, mostly captains from from many MOSs, not all of them, many of them. Get presentations on all the different MOSs. Honestly, you need to start thinking about that now. You need to find captain mentors now. You need to talk to your OSO now. Learn as much as you can, because the MOS you gets given to you in TBS. You just rank the MOSs. You're probably going to get one of your top 5. But that can impact the job you get in 4 years when you leave the military, can impact your whole career after that. So,
and more important, it can impact your morale day to day.
Absolutely.
And the morale of your Marines. Because if you're a pissed off, angry person,
then what? Then you might be a good officer regardless.
That's true.
Okay, so when you get your MOS, your occupational specialty, a lot of people, look, you know this much about what your experience is going to be when you rank the MOSs. And when you get assigned, the staff at TBS takes into account what they know about you when they give you your MOS. So if they don't think you're going to be a good infantry officer and they give you air supply, even though you asked for infantry officer, maybe that's better for you in the long run. Look, frankly, depending upon your location, your individual job, and your boss, you're going to love or hate your job, your first job in the fleet anyhow.
Regardless of whether you got your, preference of MOS.
Exactly. I started as a flight contract, actually. I started flying planes down to Pensacola, Corpus Christi, and hated it, even though there's a lot of competition, and I qualified for flight. So I quit the flight program. I dropped on requests, and I got logistics, and I loved it, and I still love the logistics to this day. Yeah. But there's
very few people become logistics officers on purpose.
It was a great fit for me, but also it mattered on my specific role, my specific unit, and there were definitely roles and units and bosses where I would have hated my life. So until your life sucks and your boss sucks, don't freak out too much about the MOS. Just do what you can. Educate yourself as much as you can.
Yeah.
Letter of recommendation from Lieutenant Colonel or Colonel help getting into OCS? Yes, that's a no-brainer. Chris, go for it. It helps. Can you drop an air contract to go ground after or during OCS? You can do it after. I would honestly recommend doing it at TBS.
Yeah.
Nelson.
You really don't have as much time at OCS, I would think.
You don't want to be branded a quitter at OCS, that's for sure. Yeah, you got enough to worry about. Favorite duty station and why?
For me?
Yeah, leading Marines makes every MOS worth it. You got it. Tremonster, you're no 3, right?
My favorite duty station was Okinawa. And there's 2 reasons for that. One, I was not infantry up at Camp Hansen or Camp Schwab on UDP. Those guys live a shitty life. 2,
what's UDP?
Unit Deployment Program. So it's like infantry units from California or Lejeune. I think they just do it from California.
We're both Marines. We both got out in 2014.
But they'll get assigned to the expeditionary unit, or they'll do the 31st MU, which is in Okinawa, or they'll do like a 6 to 8 month pump on Okinawa, and they'll do some of the other deployments like South Korea, Philippines, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just to bring over another infantry battalion into the Pacific Theater. But my favorite duty station was Okinawa, one, because I was not infantry up at Camp Hansen or Camp Schwab. I was in the wing. At that time, I was a communications electronics maintainer, so I worked on circuit cards and little things. 8-month school.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And the second thing is because Okinawa is a coral island, subtropical climate, phenomenal, like scuba diving, snorkeling, skin diving, whatever. 70-foot visibility. I would look down and see fish and be like, oh, I could reach out and touch it, and it's 60 feet away.
Wow.
It's huge, massive, colorful fish, and it's just so far away from me. So I loved it there. Yeah. And sushi. I mean, come on, sushi.
Sushi's awesome. Oh, nice. Seppo, who got hurt at OCS. Worst part of OCS?
Waking up.
Yeah. Coming back from Liberty.
Oh, that's right. You guys got Liberty.
SAT score, I don't know. Sorry. ASVAB. Yeah. Good. Thanks, Christian. Thank you. Depends on how many contacts. You get a 90 above your goal. All right, last couple questions. We got to wrap it up in 5 minutes. We will definitely do another one of these again. We've had ridiculous response. We still got 31 people online with no advertising.
Really happy you guys are joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. We're here to help you. Let us know how to help you and maybe entertain you a little bit.
We weren't really good, that's why we got out. But the things that we learned, we want to help you.
Yeah, learn from our example. Once again, Patrick Weeks, former captain, Marine Corps, founder of OCS Blog, ArmstrongPoloProgram.com, future Jarheads. Love helping you guys. Jeremiah McLeod. This is my roommate from Afghanistan. Now we're neighbors. So that talks to like the brotherhood of the Marine Corps. As a leader, how do you maintain patience when working with a person who won't put forth effort?
You work your ass off administratively to get them out. That's what you do.
How did they assign the duty station? Was it preference-based? Not much.
No.
Not much early in your career.
No.
Roll dice. My favorite duty station was Pensacola because it's a freaking vacation spot.
Yeah.
White sands. You get housing paid for.
Really
beautiful.
Living.
Yeah. How did they assign the duty station? Thank you for all your help. Hey, well, happy to help you. Just let us know how and keep passing it along. How long have you been in the military? We were both in the Marines, me, 09 to 2014.
I was in from 2001 to 2014.
How'd you receive your commission? OCS, Annapolis.
I went to the Naval
He was a
Academy.
Mustang, enlisted, then officer. Okay, last couple questions. How can we help?
Better make them good.
How did the pay work for Mustang with enlisted commission? Come on, Nick, Google it.
Yeah. I mean, definitely you can look at the military pay chart and you can see like 01E, which means 01 I was enlisted for a particular time, or 01 over 3 or over 4 or over 6 or whatever. Like yearly the DoD publishes their pay chart. You can find that easily. Which you're going to have to do because it changes like almost on an annual basis. So I mean, even like we would look that stuff up.
Chris, come on, man. Okay. What are your leadership styles? I missed that one earlier.
Leadership styles.
Honestly, like my leadership sucked in the Marine Corps. I've learned and grown so much more as a leader in the last couple of years since I got out as when I was in. They filled my head with lots of good leadership lessons, but I had to learn lots of stuff the hard way. And right now my leadership style is very collaborative. It's very mature.
More mature, probably.
Yeah, in another 10 years, I'll say it's very mature.
Yeah. I was enlisted first, and as an enlisted guy, especially as a new NCO, like I was a dick, and honestly, that's what you want your NCOs to. You kind of want your NCOs to be a dick, to be dicks. You don't want them all to be collectively a dick. But like I was rude to my colleagues. I was rude to my my Marines. I just made them do things because I could, because I was a corporal and they had to. I mean, legally. As an officer, no way. Like I said earlier,
if you're a dick as an officer, you're gonna fail.
I wouldn't even raise my voice as an officer.
No.
I spoke more like as a father figure, as like a professor. Not that I'm like super smart, but just to have that, like let's have a conversation. I would include my Marines in the decision making process. I had a very special platoon. We did signals intelligence and reconnaissance. So like they knew more than I did about the technical specifics of our job. So like I had to include them. Number one. Number two, that gave them buy-in to the mission we were pursuing. Mm-hmm. I mean, and now would I do things, a little more maturely than I did then? Absolutely. I would make decisions even differently now. It's tough to peg like this is my style. This is how I do it.
Right. I've definitely learned the importance of communication in the intervening years, and like you cannot over communicate. You cannot think too much about communication between yourself, between parts of your command.
Never assume somebody understands what you're saying, ever. Do you understand?
Yes, but you don't. Thank you, Austin. Thank you, everybody. If I didn't get to your question, if we didn't get to your question, I see more going through right now. Hit us up on DM, comment on our Facebook page, Instagram page. We'll try to help you out. We'll definitely do one of these again. Thank you guys so much. Ura, Semper Fi.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks to Gettysburg Flag Works. Watch for our
sneak peek.
Watch for our commercial come out soon. Absolutely. All right, take care. Best of luck. Believe in yourself.
Peace.